Okay, so in number one, you wanted to find the center and radius. Well, you're given the center and radius, and you want to write the equation of the circle in standard form. So just a reminder that what standard form is for the equation of a circle. So standard form equation of circle is this. It's x minus h squared, that's an h, plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So remember where the center is denoted as hk and the radius is equal to r. So r is the radius and the center is denoted as hk. So that's the standard form for the equation of a circle. So in number 1a, you're given that the center is negative 3, 2, and the radius is 3 square root of 2 units. And you want to write the equation of the circle that has this center and that has this radius in standard form. All right, and all you have to do is just take these values and substitute it back into the standard form for the equation of a circle. So meaning that if this is my center, then the x-coordinate here is represented as h, and then the y-coordinate is represented as k. And then this is my radius. So be careful, though, how you substitute this information into here. So the way I would do it first is this way. I would say x minus h, which is a negative 3, and that's being squared, plus y minus k, which is 2 squared, equals, and in parentheses, I'm going to substitute the radius, which is 3 square root of 2, but that is being squared. Now, don't leave the answer like this. You got to simplify this as much as possible. All right, so we know that x subtract a negative 3 means x plus 3, so this becomes x plus 3 squared, plus, and then y subtract 2 is y subtract 2 squared, and then we need to figure out what 3 square root of 2 times itself is. So 3 square root of 2 times 3 square root of 2. So notice you have all these factors here that are being multiplied together. So the way I would do it is I would say, first, I know that 3 times 3 is 9. So remember, multiplication is commutative. The order in which you multiply real numbers does not matter. So 3 times 3 is 9 times, and I know that the square root of 2 times the square root of 2 is the square root of 4, right? 2 times 2 is 4. And 4 is a perfect square. So the square root of 4 is 2. So this becomes 9 times 2, which is 18. So this becomes 18. So you have to put 18 here. And that's it. So that is your answer for 1A. So the center, you can see the center is negative 3, positive 2. And the radius would be the square root of 18, which is this right here. All right. So that is 1A. Now 1B, let's see, in 1B, you're given this. You're given this time that the center is 0, 4, and the radius is 3. All right, so we can do the same thing. We're going to denote the center as hk, and then we're going to substitute it back into the formula. So x subtract h, which is 0, squared, plus y subtract k, which is 4 squared, equals the radius, which is 3 squared. Simplify this. We know that x subtract 0 is x, so you got to rewrite this just as x. So this will be x squared. And then y subtract 4, we'll leave it as y subtract 4 squared, equal, and I know that 3 times itself is 9. So there's your answer. So that's the equation of the circle in standard form. All right, so that was number 1. So in 1, that's all they wanted you to do was just to write the equation of a circle in standard form given the center and the radius. So the first one was x plus 3 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals 18. So that's the answer there. And then the second one was x squared plus y minus 4 squared equal 9. Okay, now in number 2, you're given the standard form for the equation of a circle, and from this information you want to find the center and the radius. All right, so let's look at 2a. So 2a, you're given x minus 5 squared plus y minus 7 squared equal 24. All right, so remember the standard form for the equation of a circle is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equal r squared. All right, so if I look at this, so be careful, because some students, when they think of the center, they want to say -5, -7. That's not true, because remember, you got to think about that standard form. What does the standard form look like? It doesn't say x plus h, it says x minus h, right? And so if I come right here and just rewrite this equation, I want you to see what's going to happen. This becomes x minus 5 squared plus y minus 7 squared equals, and then I'm going to just put 24 for right now. So notice that, see this x subtract, right? So that means that h is only positive 5. Y subtract. So that means that k is only positive 7. All right, so the center is not -5, -7. You have to be careful. The center is 5, positive 5, positive 7. So there's the center. Now the radius, to find the radius, we know, what I would do is I would compare these two here. I know that r squared is the same as 24. And you get r by itself, so remember you dealt with using the square root property before. So you get r by itself, you can take the square root of both sides, but don't do the plus and minus, because remember, radius is positive, not negative, so you're only going to do the positive square root. The square and the square root undo each other, so you get r equals, and then the square root of 24, which go ahead and simplify the radicals, because you were told to do that. Simplify square roots if possible. And I know that the largest perfect square that goes into 24 is 4, so it becomes square root of 4 times square root of 6, and the square root of 4 is 2, so it's 2 square root of 6. So that's your radius, so that's a 7 here. And so the radius is 2 square root of 6. Okay? All right, let's look at B. So in B, you have x plus 3 squared plus y minus 1 squared equals 64. Let's do the same thing. Let's write the standard form, x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So a lot of students mess this up because they want to say the h is a positive 3 and k is a negative 1, but that is not true. You have to know what that standard form looks like. So if I take this right here, put it right underneath, here's what I have. I have x plus 3 squared plus y minus 1 squared equal 64. Now look at that y minus k and y minus 1. So notice it says y minus, right? So that means k is a positive 1. So that one's easy. So I know that my center, k is going to be a positive 1. Now what messes students up is this h. What you have to do is think about x plus 3. I can think of x plus 3 as x minus a negative 3. See that? So now you have x minus, and so h is now, you can see that as being a negative 3. So your center is negative 3, 1. And what some students, and you got to be careful with memorizing things, because then you got so many things that you've memorized and you don't know which is which anymore. But some students, when they think of the equation of a circle and they want to find the center, they take the opposite of that number. So positive 3, negative 3, the opposite of negative 1, positive 1. But that's really not the way you should be doing this. You should be comparing this with the standard form, so that way you can easily figure out with more understanding how to determine the center. And then the radius is just this. So radius squared equals 64. We're just comparing these, equating those two values here, or those two expressions. And so when I take the square root of both sides, I get r equals, and the square root of 64 is 8. So the radius equals 8. All right, and then one more, and that's C. So this time you have x minus 8 squared plus y squared equal 16. All right, so doing the same thing, go ahead and just kind of draw this. So remember, our standard form is x minus 8 squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So I'm going to take this, compare it. So I'm going to have x minus 8 squared plus y squared equal 16. So let's look at the radius this time. So this one's easy, right? So r squared equal 16. So to get r by itself, I'm going to take the square root of both sides. Don't forget, it's just positive this time because distance is positive, and so I get r to be, these undo each other, so I get r to be the square root of 16, which is 4. So I found the radius is 4, and then to find the center, h is easy because this says x minus, right? So that says h then has to be 8. So the center is going to be 8, comma, and then right here, what you want to do is you want to rewrite this y as a binomial. All right, so y, you got to think like this now. Y is the same thing as saying y minus 0, right? Y minus 0 is the same thing as y. And so now we'll see that k is now 0. K is 0. So your center is 8, 0. Okay? All right. And just real quickly, just to see what the graph looks like, let's kind of graph. It's hard to graph an irrational number like this. So let's just look at these two, and I may be a little bit. The graph paper I have is not going to fit well with this radius being this large, but I think I'll be able to do it with this one. So let's look at one of them, see how to graph this. All right, so the graph, just for part C, because the radius is not that large, is going to be this. So you're going to plot the center first, or locate the center first. So that, remember, the center is 8, 0. And I'm hoping I'm going to have to estimate up here. But here's the center right here, okay? And so that's the center of that circle. Oops, I'm sorry, that's 0, 8. So 8 zeros here, right here. So there's the center of that circle. So that's 8, 0, okay? And I'm going to go 4 units up. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's a point in that circle. 4 units to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 4 units down. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 4 units to the right. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then all you do is just do the best you can with drawing that circle like this. Just kind of do the best you can. Mine's not going to be that great, but at least you'll see that the center is 8, 0, like I said, and the radius is 4. So from this is 4 units, this is 4 units, this is 4 units, this is 4 units. Everywhere. So remember, there's an infinite number of radii. So all these are 4 units long. Now, again, I didn't draw a nice circle, but you get the idea. Okay, and that's it. So that was the key to this worksheet. So let me just quickly put the answers here. So this one was 5, 7, 2 square root of 6. This is negative 3, 1. Radius is 8, and this is 8, 0, and the radius is 4. Okay. All right. So that is it. So that is the key to those problems.